Hello. I'm coming in hot, like really temperature hot. In Topanga Canyon right now, it's like over 100 degrees. So I'm in it. And hello. I'm coming on today to talk more about something a client of mine just inspired me to talk about, which is really understanding how to meet your body's needs. This sounds really simple, but the conversation that I was having with my client was, she's someone that's had a lot of chronic health issues, like myself, and she was saying she used to wait until something huge happened, like a really big symptom. And whether that was, at first a diagnosis of an autoimmune disease, or literally like she was so burnt out and tired that she couldn't do anything, had to call off work, until the body was really like yelling at her. Until the body was really yelling at her to do something where she had no choice. I've had the experience too of dealing with autoimmune disease where I would get these high spiking fevers, like these huge fevers that would just burn me out, and I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything, and I would be out, right? And I would have to then listen to my body and take care of my body. Like I had no choice. I felt so sick. I don't know if anyone else has ever felt that way too, where the body, it's like you're getting these little knocks, like, hey, we're not doing so well. Hey, we have a little stomach ache. Hey, we have a little headache. And then it's like, boom, hey, pay attention. That happened to me. It doesn't happen to me in as big of ways now, but it happened to me for like, let's say 15 years of doing that. And I was talking to my client, and she was saying the biggest thing that she's learned in our time together and just her work going down this path is how to listen to the body when it is telling you something, and it might be more subtle or it might be smaller. And the benefit of that is that she no longer has these giant moments where the body is screaming at her, asking for her attention. And I think we all just need to forgive ourselves for those times where we get to the point where the body is screaming for our attention, because I used to beat myself up a lot about them when I would get a flare-up or when I would find myself in a familiar pattern or place again, and I would feel really guilty and like bad that I got there. So I think we need to forgive ourselves. Literally forgive yourself is the phrase that's like one of the best phrases in the world. It can instantly neutralize these feelings of self-criticism and self-doubt. So take that phrase and use it the next time you start to get spinny and grippy. I was kind of feeling like that this morning, and it was just like, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. But the tools that I work with clients a lot around are listening to the body in these smaller, like, hey, so that we are able to course correct, and that we can hopefully prevent these big flares, like big moments of the body yelling at us and needing our attention. So what I'm going to share today is like the 4 steps that I use to do that. And I hope that this is helpful for you, because sometimes having a little checklist is really good. So you can write these down, or you can just save this video and watch it again next time you're in this place. So my first step is to first settle. So you could be spinning around. I've got like a million balls up in the air in my life right now in terms of like living and work and like new ideas and all the things. And so I always need a moment just to settle. So what that can look like is literally just a couple breaths. It can look like maybe just putting a hand on the body somewhere, on the chest, or maybe even the head or the belly. And my favorite new thing right now is just feeling the force of gravity to let me settle. So just literally thinking in my head, okay, I'm allowing gravity to take over right now. And if you do it, you can start to feel your shoulders relax a little bit. You can start to just feel like you don't have to do a whole lot, but gravity is just letting you relax. So you'll feel kind of a settling. And again, just to take a few seconds just to settle. Step 1. if you have the ability right now, see if you can just take a couple seconds just to settle. Feeling, I imagine it sometimes like dust in a snow globe or whatever it is, snow, like dust kind of coming down and just settling for a second. The second step is then to ask. Engage in a conversation with your body. What do you need? For those that are just hopping on now, we're talking about how to pay attention to what your body needs, to understand and tend to your body's needs. It sounds simple, but I've got a strategy for it. So it becomes almost foolproof. The second step is to ask. So asking the body, what do you need right now? If any of my clients are watching right now, they know that I ask this all the time or guide through this process too. Asking, what do you need right now? And allowing a little bit of space for that to come through. Sometimes it's a really easy answer. It's like, I need water. Like right now, I'm hot. Like no joke. I actually turned down my AC so this wouldn't be too loud. And it's hot. So I need something cold. Like I need to dunk my head in the cold plunge. But sometimes it's easy. Like I need a nap. You know, I need a glass of water. Man, I need to eat. My blood sugar is low. Sometimes it can be a little more complex. Like I need to say no to something that's coming up. I need a break. You know, I need some help. Whatever it is, your body is so wise, so wise. So just engage. Even if you don't think you're going to get an answer, ask. Ask and give just a few moments for something to come through and see what comes through. The third step is receive. And this is what I'm talking about. We often want to skip through this. Hi. We often want to skip through this piece, but receiving is probably one of the most important pieces of all of this. So we're receiving the information we ask from our body. And why I give it its whole own step is because we want to receive the information even if you don't feel capable of doing anything with that information yet. It's okay. Say you receive the information back that you need a week-long vacation, you know, or something like that, and you're like, okay, I can't do anything with that. Or like my colleague Megan, we were recently talking, she received the information that she can't have caffeine right now. And that was not what she wanted to hear. So allow the truth and the wisdom from your body to come in, even if it's not what you want to hear, because you don't have to do anything with that information. That's what I'm telling you now. But we do have to let that information come through. So if you get a message that, man, it's that this coffee is like really jacking up my nervous system and I don't need it. Beautiful. At least welcome it in and have that understanding and connection with your body that you're listening to it. Because it's going to tell you information, even if it's inconvenient to you, even if you don't like it, even if it's legitimately not possible to do in that moment. But even just the act of, okay, I hear you that coffee is not working for you right now. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay. That's an example. Like sometimes I'll even, think the phrase like, let whatever needs to come through, come through. Let me know if this is resonating for you. Hi. And if you have any questions about that piece, because that's a really important one. So let it come through. The piece after this, the fourth step, I guess there's kind of 5 steps. The fourth step is embodied action. But in between that, when you receive that information, this is where we inject, infuse, tap into the energy of self-compassion. So often if we're asking what the body needs, it might be like, I really actually need to move my body. And the brain might start to go into, God, why have you been so lazy lately? Why haven't you moved your body? Everyone else seems to be able to do it, blah, blah. We might go on this whole thing. Or, I shouldn't have had that coffee. The coffee is just coming through right now. I shouldn't have had that coffee. And then, why did I have that? Like, I could have chosen something different, I didn't have to do that. And blah. Let me know if that's familiar. Do you ever have that voice that comes in after you get the information from your body? That's where we want to infuse the self-compassion. Using that phrase, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Poof. Can we just let it go? You had the coffee. You didn't exercise. You didn't, whatever. Poof. It doesn't matter. It's gone. But now we know. The fourth step is the embodied action. And you'll notice that the word embodied is in front of it because we've literally connected with our body. We've asked our body So this action isn't coming from the mind of, what should I be doing? What did that person on Instagram tell me to do? What did I used to do that worked for me? What is someone else who has the same diagnosis or symptom as me doing? Those are examples of things when we can start to get out of our body and we can start to make decisions or take steps that might not actually serve us right now. So it's this embodied action. This whole process allows us to do that. And the self-compassion is a really, really huge part of it. So those are my 4/5 steps for really getting that. And the whole point of this is that what we need changes all the time. If we are able to give our bodies what they need in the moment, even if it's as simple as a glass of water, if it's as simple as something cool on my neck right now, which is what I really want, that is telling our body that we're with it and that we're listening to it. The more that we strengthen that connection, the more that the body knows we've got its back. And even if there's moments where we say, okay, I hear that you want me to do that, I can't just do that quite yet, but I'm going to work on it for you, right? Like, there's no pressure to immediately take that information and revamp your whole life, but we're listening. We're listening. Yeah, she's saying, I believe the body will tell us exactly what we need if we listen. Great advice. Yeah, you're so right. It will. And so like having these steps, right, can help us just tap into that. Then what this helps us do, what my client reflected to me, what I've seen with a lot of different people, is it helps us to avoid the times where there's a big, huge, hey, you weren't listening to me. And like we've literally all had them and we'll all have them again. But this is a way where we can course correct, where we can listen and we can start to tend to our body. Tending is a really big word. So I've been using this word a lot and this practice in the program that I'm offering called Awaken. I've been talking a little bit more about that. My colleague Megan and I are offering, at its roots, this is a nutrition and lifestyle coaching program, and it's 6 weeks. And so a huge part of it, literally one whole week in it, is called tending. And it's this type of work. It's when we feel like things feel so big and overwhelming, when we're constantly getting that big knock on the head, to listen. It's cultivating these daily practices to tend. And it doesn't have to be huge. It's something that we can all incorporate into our life. So in this program that I'm offering, it really is about learning these practices and practicing them within a group, within a container. For me, what I've found is that's the best way to do it. You have me with you, we have Megan, another supporter, you have community and people who can actually inspire you and give you different ideas and encourage you along this path. So that's why stepping into containers is really important, because it can just give you that frame with which to practice something you're wanting to integrate. So I invite you all to practice this. Work with this. Let me know in the comments if you're going to practice it. And please come back and tell me. Sometimes I talk out into the internet and then I'm like, I wonder if anybody's doing those things. I wonder if anybody feels the same way I do. So please come back and let me know what you learned and what you noticed or what you're already practicing. I'd love to learn from you as well. And I also invite you into our 6-week program, nutrition and lifestyle coaching program that's going to be starting September 14th. And the energy around this program is really to offer you a sanctuary to explore what your body, your heart, and your soul are wanting when it comes to nutrition and lifestyle support, when it comes to creating a life that allows for healing to occur. It's practices like these that seem small, but are so powerful. And that's what my client was reflecting to me today. She was like, Christina, these practices, at first I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. Yeah. And her reflection was it changed her whole life. And she hasn't had autoimmune flares anymore in that way because of this. So if I can offer that to anyone else, I was reflecting yesterday, I was sometimes I talk from my head a lot where I'm I want to make sure they know this and I tell them this. And I'm a very heady person and love thinking about things and systems and this. And I was sometimes it's just I got to talk from the heart about why this stuff is so important and why I feel every time I'm in another job or doing another project, I always come back to this because this is what I'm meant to do and this is what I'm meant to share with people. And And I'm meant to demystify this, like when health feels overwhelming and confusing, and I've been at that place myself. How can I provide a sanctuary and a space to land where it doesn't feel overwhelming, it doesn't feel confusing, it feels full of ease, and it feels full of support, and it feels doable. Like I have this phrase that I say that, like, if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work, you know, and I say that with my clients too. Like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. We don't have to shove you into different boxes and different things. Like, this is the work, right? And like, this is what I want to share, and I want to share that we can do it differently. We've been through so much in the last couple of years. A lot of our nervous systems are fried. We don't have the capacity to take on more and more and more. And sometimes it's really just about being in a container where we can understand that what we've done is enough, is more than enough. You know, like, we're already whole as we are, and finding ways that we can support each other and come together to practice, to move through life and to heal in a way that actually feels accessible. That's what I want to offer you right now. That's what I'm here to offer you. Above all else, right? Like I said, I try and move in different areas sometimes, and my heart always gets yanked back here, and this is where I want to be, and what I want to be doing, and what I want to be sharing with you. So I would love to support you in whatever way that looks like. Please message me if this resonates you. Let me know I'm not talking alone to the internet. I can see you all here, and I'm waving. But I'm going to stop talking now and rambling because it's really hot. And I always say I'm going to do these shorter than I am. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. The 4 steps, kind of more like 5 steps. I hope that's helpful practice. Please let me know how it lands with you and your life.